Hello everyone. Welcome back to JBC English Learning Academy. I am your host Elena and I am so happy you're here with me today. Today we are starting a very special journey together. This video is not just about learning English words or grammar, rules. It is about something much bigger. It is about you. It is about your life. And it is about making this year 2026 the best year of your life so far. We are going to read a story together. It is a guide, a map to help you change your habits, improve your mindset, and build the future you dream of. And the best part is that you will be improving your English fluency at the same time. This is a graded reader video. That means I will speak clearly and slowly. I will use vocabulary that is perfect for intermediate learners who want to reach an advanced level. I will explain difficult words as we go so you can relax and focus on the message. Are you ready to change your life? Let's begin. Chapter 1 is titled The Fresh Start. Everyone loves the idea of a fresh start. A fresh start is a new beginning. It is like opening a new notebook where all the pages are white and clean. You have not made any mistakes yet. You have not crossed anything out. It feels full of possibility. The year 2026 is your fresh start. But a fresh start does not happen by magic. You cannot just wait for your life to change. You must take action. To take action means to do something. You must move. You must decide. Many people think that change requires a huge sudden event. They think they need to win the lottery or move to a different country to change their lives. But that is not true. Real change happens slowly. It happens one step at a time. Think of a mountain climber. How do they reach the top of the highest mountain? Do they jump? No, they cannot jump to the top. They take one small step and then another small step. They keep walking even when they are tired. Eventually they look down and see how far they have come. This year we are going to be mountain climbers. We are going to climb the mountain of self-improvement. Self-improvement is the act of making yourself better. It could mean learning a new skill like English. It could mean becoming healthier by exercising. Or it could mean becoming a kinder person. Whatever your goal is, the method is the same. You must be consistent. Consistency is a very important word in English. Consistency means doing the same thing again and again without stopping. If you study English for 5 hours on Monday, but then you do not study for the rest of the month, you do not have consistency. But if you study for just 15 minutes every day, that is consistency. Small actions repeated over time create massive results. This is the secret to changing your life in 2026. Do not try to change everything in one day. If you try to change everything at once, you will feel overwhelmed. To feel overwhelmed means to feel like you have too much to do and you cannot handle it. It is a stressful feeling. We want to avoid that. Instead, we will focus on small manageable changes. Let us talk about the first small change. It starts with your morning routine. A routine is a set of actions you do in the same order every time. Your morning routine sets the tone for your entire day. If you wake up late, rush to get dressed, and skip breakfast, you will feel stressed and anxious. But if you wake up A little earlier, drink a glass of water. And take a deep breath, you will feel calm and ready. Let us learn a useful phrase here. To set the tone. To set the tone means to establish a mood or an atmosphere. A calm morning sets the tone for a calm day. A chaotic morning sets the tone for a chaotic day. Tomorrow morning, try this simple challenge. Wake up 10 minutes earlier than usual. Just 10 minutes. Use that time to sit quietly or to stretch your body. Do not look at your phone immediately. Give yourself a moment of peace. This small action is your first step up the mountain. Clears throat. Now let us consider the power of your thoughts. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant flowers, you will have a beautiful garden. If you let weeds grow, your garden will be messy. Weeds are unwanted plants that grow where you do not want them. In your mind, negative thoughts are the weeds. Thoughts like, I am not good enough or I will never speak fluent English are weeds. You must pull them out. You must replace them with flowers. Positive thoughts are the flowers. Tell yourself, I am learning every day or I am capable of achieving my goals. This is called a mindset shift. A shift is a small change in position or direction. You are shifting your mind from the negative to the positive. It sounds simple, but it is very powerful. When you believe you can change, you are more likely to take the actions necessary to change. Let's look at another important word. Accountability. Accountability is the state of being responsible for your actions. When you tell someone about your goals, you are creating accountability. For example, if you tell a friend, I am going to exercise 3 times this week, you will feel more motivated to do it because you do not want to disappoint your friend. You can also be accountable to yourself. You can write your goals down in a journal. A journal is a personal notebook where you write your thoughts and experiences. Writing down your goals makes them feel more real. It is a contract with yourself. For 2026, I want you to buy a journal. It does not have to be expensive. Any notebook will do. On the first page, write down 3 things you want to change this year. Keep it simple. Maybe you want to read more books. Maybe you want to drink more water. Maybe you want to speak English with more confidence. Write them down. Now that we have established the importance of starting fresh and building consistency, we must look outside of ourselves. We are going to talk about the world around you and specifically the people around you. This brings us to Chapter 2, the circle of influence. Have you ever heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with? This is a famous quote and it contains a lot of truth. To be the average means to be in the middle or to be a result of combining different things. If your 5 closest friends are healthy and exercise every day, you will probably exercise. 2. If your 5 closest friends are always negative and complaining, you will likely become negative too. This group of people is your circle of influence. An influence is a force that changes or affects someone or something. Clears throat. The people you talk to every day influence your thoughts, your mood, and your English learning journey. Let us think about your environment. Usually when we say environment, we think about nature, trees, rivers, and air. But in psychology, your environment includes your home, your workplace, and your social circle. A social circle is the group of friends and acquaintances you interact with. If your social circle is supportive, it is easier to change your life. To be supportive means to give help and encouragement. Imagine you tell your friend, "I am learning English." A supportive friend will say, "That is amazing. Can I help you practice?" This reaction gives you energy. It makes you feel brave. However, not everyone is supportive. Some people are what we call drains. Think of a sink in your kitchen. The water goes down the drain and disappears. Some people are like drains because they take your energy away. They might say, "Why are you studying so hard? It is a waste of time." Or they might complain about everything constantly. We sometimes call this toxic behavior. The word toxic literally means poisonous, like a dangerous chemical. But when we describe a person as toxic, we mean their attitude is harmful to your happiness. In 2026, you must protect your energy. You do not have to be rude, but you can choose to spend less time with people who drain you. You can choose to spend more time with radiators. A radiator is a heater that warms up a room. Radiator people are warm, kind, and positive. They make you feel good about yourself. This leads us to a very important concept: boundaries. A boundary is a line that marks a limit. Borders between countries are boundaries, but personal boundaries are invisible lines you draw to protect yourself. Setting a boundary means saying no to things that are not good for you. For example, if you need to study English every evening at 8 p.m. and your friend asks you to go out to a party at that time, you can say, "I am sorry. I cannot go tonight. I have a commitment." A commitment is a promise or a duty. Saying no can be difficult, especially if you want to please everyone. But remember, when you say no to a distraction, you're saying yes to your future. You're saying yes to a better 2026. Let's discuss communication. Good relationships require good communication. Many people think communication is just speaking. They think, if I speak perfect English, I will be a great communicator. But speaking is only half of the picture. The other half, and perhaps the more important half, is listening. There is a difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is just the physical act of sound entering your ears. Listening is an active mental process. You pay attention. You try to understand the other person's feelings. This is called empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. When you listen with empathy, you build trust. We have talked about the people around you and how they influence your mood. We learned about setting boundaries to protect your peace. Now we are shifting our focus to the most important tool you possess. It is the tool you use to read, to listen, to work, and to learn English. We are talking about your body. This brings us to Chapter 3, the engine of success. Imagine for a moment that you have a beautiful, expensive car. It is a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. You want this car to drive fast and far. Would you put cheap, dirty fuel into the tank? Would you never change the oil? Would you leave it out in the rain to rust? Of course not. You would take care of it perfectly because it is valuable. Your body is much more valuable than a car. You cannot buy a new body. It is the vehicle that carries you through life. A vehicle is a machine used for transporting people or goods like a car, bus, or bicycle. In this metaphor, your body is the vehicle for your dreams. If your vehicle is broken down, you cannot reach your destination. Many people try to learn English or start a business while they are exhausted. To be exhausted means to be extremely tired, completely without energy. They sleep only 4 hours a night. They eat processed food full of sugar. They drink too much coffee and not enough water. Then they wonder why they cannot concentrate. To concentrate means to focus all your attention on one thing. If you cannot concentrate, you cannot learn. The connection between your body and your brain is undeniable. When your body is strong and energized, your mind is sharp and clear. Let us look at the first pillar of physical health, nutrition. Nutrition is the process of taking in food and using it for growth and health. We are not going to talk about strict diets today. Instead, let us talk about fuel. Fuel is what gives energy to a machine or a body. Food is your fuel. If you eat a heavy lunch with lots of pasta or bread, you might feel sleepy in the afternoon. This is called a sugar crash. It happens when your energy goes up very high and then drops suddenly. To avoid this, you need balanced fuel. Try to eat more vegetables and fruits. They contain vitamins that help your brain function. A simple change for 2026 is to add one piece of fruit to your breakfast every day. It is a small step, but remember, we are mountain climbers. Small steps matter. The second pillar is hydration. Hydration refers to the amount of water in your body. Your brain is mostly made of water. When you are dehydrated, which means you do not have enough water, you get headaches. You feel tired. You might feel irritable. Irritable means easily annoyed or angry. Sometimes when you think you are hungry or tired, you are actually just thirsty. Here is a challenge for you. Keep a bottle of water on your desk while you study English. Every time you finish a page or a video, take a sip. A sip is a very small drink. This keeps your brain lubricated and ready to work. The final pillar of health, and perhaps the most ignored one, is sleep. In our busy culture, some people think sleeping is a waste of time. They think I will sleep when I am dead. This is a terrible attitude. Sleep is not just resting. It is repairing. When you sleep, your brain is very active. It is sorting through all the information you learned during the day. It is moving memories from short-term storage to long-term storage. This process is called consolidation. Consolidation is the act of making something stronger or more solid. If you study English vocabulary all day, but you do not sleep well, your brain cannot consolidate those words. You will forget them tomorrow. So, sleeping is actually part of studying. Prioritize your sleep. In 2026, now that we have the right mindset and the right energy, we need to talk about the one thing we all wish we had more of. We're talking about time. This brings us to Chapter 4, Mastering Your Time. Time is a unique resource. A resource is a supply of something that you can use, like money or materials. But unlike money, you cannot save time to use later. You cannot go to the bank and ask for more hours in the day. Every single person, whether they are rich or poor, has exactly 24 hours in a day. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is not how much time they have, but how they use it. This is called time management. Time management is the ability to use one's time effectively or productively. The biggest enemy of time management is a long word called procrastination. Can you say that with me? Procrastination. Procrastination is the action of delaying or postponing something. It is when you know you should study English, but instead you watch funny cat videos on your phone for an hour. We all do it. But why? Usually we procrastinate because we are afraid. We are afraid the task is too difficult or too boring. We want to avoid the discomfort. To avoid means to keep away from something. But the problem is that the task does not disappear. It just waits for you, and you feel more stressed as time passes. So, how do we stop procrastinating? One effective method is called eating the frog. This sounds funny, I know. It comes from a famous quote that says, if you eat a live frog first thing in the morning, nothing worse will happen to you for the rest of the day. In time management, the frog is your hardest, most difficult task. It is the task you want to avoid. If you do that difficult task first thing in the morning, you will feel a huge sense of relief. Relief is the feeling of relaxation after anxiety or pain creates a release. You will feel proud of yourself. For you, maybe eating the frog means doing your English grammar exercises before you check your emails. Do the hard thing first. We have now organized your mind, your friends, your body, and your schedule. You are becoming a powerful person. But I have to be honest with you. No matter how well you plan and no matter how healthy you are, things will not always go smoothly. You will face problems. You will make mistakes. You might even fail. That is why we must now explore Chapter 5, The Power of Resilience. Let us start with a definition. What is resilience? Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. Imagine a sponge. If you squeeze a sponge in your hand, you crush it. It becomes small and tight. But as soon as you open your hand, the sponge bounces back to its original shape. That is resilience. It is the ability to bounce back. In your journey to change your life, you need to be a sponge. You cannot be glass. If you squeeze glass, it shatters. To shatter means to break into many tiny pieces. We want to be flexible and tough, not fragile. We need to change our relationship with the word failure. In school, we are taught that failure is bad. If you get an F on your test, you're in trouble. But in real life, failure is just data. It is information. If you try to speak English to a stranger and they do not understand you, that is not a bad thing. It is feedback. Feedback is information about reactions to a product or a person's performance of a task. The feedback tells you, my pronunciation of that word needs work. It does not mean you are stupid. It means you are learning. Thomas Edison, the man who invented the light bulb, failed thousands of times. He said, I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that will not work. This is the attitude of a winner. We have strengthened our minds, our bodies, our relationships, and our resilience. Now, we must talk about a topic that makes many people nervous. We are going to talk about money. This is Chapter 6, Financial Wellness. In many cultures, talking about money is considered taboo. A taboo is a subject that people avoid because they think it is impolite or uncomfortable. But if we do not talk about money, we cannot learn about it. And if we do not learn about it, we cannot control it. Financial wellness does not mean being a millionaire. It means having a healthy relationship with money. It means that you control your money instead of your money controlling you. It means having enough to feel safe and free. Let us start with the basics. The most important tool for financial wellness is a budget. A budget is a plan for your money. It is a list of how much money comes in and how much money goes out. Money that comes in from your job or business is called income. Money that goes out to pay for food, rent, and bills is called expenses. Many people are afraid to look at their expenses. They swipe their credit cards and hope for the best. But remember what we learned about time audits. Now we must do a financial audit. You need to know exactly where your money is going. When you write it down, you might see that you are spending too much on things you do not need. This knowledge gives you power. Now that we have secured your financial foundation, we must turn our attention to the most valuable asset you will ever own. It is not your house and it is not your car. It is your brain. In a rapidly changing world, the ability to learn is the only skill that guarantees success. If you can learn, you can adapt. If you can adapt, you can survive anything. This brings us to Chapter 7, the art of learning. Many people carry a dangerous belief from their childhood. They believe that they are bad at learning. They think I am not smart enough or I have a bad memory. But this is a myth. A myth is a widely held but false belief or idea. The truth is you are not bad at learning. You just were not taught how to learn. In school, we are often forced to memorize facts for a test, and then we forget them the next day. That is not learning, that is memorizing. True learning changes who you are. To become a master learner in 2026, you must understand a concept called neuroplasticity. This is a big scientific word, but let us break it down. Neuro refers to the neurons or nerve cells in your brain. Plasticity refers to plastic, which is a material that can be molded and shaped. So neuroplasticity means that your brain is like plastic. It can change. It can grow. It can be reshaped. Every time you learn a new English word, you physically change the structure of your brain. You create a new connection. This means that old dogs can learn new tricks. Your age does not matter. Your past grades do not matter. Your brain is ready to grow if you feed it the right challenges. One of the most effective methods for learning anything, especially a language, is called spaced repetition. Imagine you are walking through a forest. If you walk through the tall grass once, you leave a faint trail. But if you do not walk there again, the grass grows back and the trail disappears. However, if you walk that same path the next day and The next week and the next month, the path becomes a clear, wide road. Your memory works the same way. If you review a vocabulary word once, you will forget it. But if you review it 1 day later, then 3 days later, then 1 week later, you are walking the path again. You are telling your brain this information is important. Keep it in. 2026. Stop trying to cram. To cram means to study intensively over a short period of time just before an examination. Cramming does not work. Instead, space out your learning. Review a little bit every day. Let us move on to Chapter 8. Digital minimalism. We live in the information age, but truthfully, we are living in the distraction age. Never in history has it been so hard to focus. We are constantly bombarded with notifications, emails, news, and advertisements. To be bombarded means to be attacked continuously with something. In this case, we are attacked with information. This constant noise destroys our ability to concentrate. And without concentration, you cannot learn English and you cannot change your life. This year, I want you to try a practice called digital minimalism. Minimalism is a lifestyle of living with less. Digital minimalism means using technology intentionally, not accidentally. It means you use your phone as a tool, not as a toy. Have you ever picked up your phone to check the time and then suddenly realize that 20 minutes have passed and you are scrolling through social media? This is called the infinity pool. Apps are designed to be infinite. They never end. You can scroll forever, but your time is not infinite. Your time is finite. Finite means having limits or bounds. One powerful technique to regain your focus is the dopamine detox. Dopamine is a chemical in your brain that makes you feel pleasure. When you get a like on a photo or see a funny video, your brain releases a little bit of dopamine. It feels good, so you want more. You check your phone again and again. You become addicted. To be addicted means to be physically or mentally dependent on a particular substance or activity. A dopamine detox is a period of time where you avoid these quick pleasures. You turn off your phone. You step away from the screens. You let your brain get bored. Boredom is actually very healthy. When your brain is bored, it becomes creative. It starts to solve problems. It starts to daydream. In English, in 2026, give yourself the gift of boredom. Now that we are focused and learning, we need to look at how we present ourselves to the world. This leads us to Chapter 9, the power of communication. Many learners think that communication is just about vocabulary and grammar. They think if I memorize the dictionary, I will be a great communicator. But this is false. You can know every word in the English language and still be a bad communicator. Communication is not just about the words you say. It is about how you make people feel. Let us talk about active listening. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. They are just waiting for their turn to speak. While the other person is talking, they are thinking, what should I say next? Is my grammar correct? This is not listening. Active listening means you are fully present. You are looking at the person. You are nodding. You are asking questions. When you listen actively, you Make the other person feel important. And when you make people feel important, they will like you. They will want to help you. They will be patient with your English mistakes. We have now covered the internal skills of learning, the discipline of focus, and the external art of communication. But there is a deeper level we have not touched yet. We have not talked about your emotions. We have not talked about the fire inside you that keeps you going when things get dark. This brings us to Chapter 10, The Hidden Superpower. For many years, society has been obsessed with something called IQ. IQ stands for Intelligence Quotient. It is a score derived from standardized tests designed to assess human intelligence. People thought that if you had a high IQ, if you were good at math and logic, you would be successful. But they were wrong. We all know people who are very smart but very unhappy. They might be geniuses, but they cannot keep a job, or their marriages fail, or they are constantly angry. Why? Because they lack a different kind of intelligence. They lack EQ. EQ stands for Emotional Quotient or Emotional Intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions, and to understand the emotions of others. It is a superpower. In 2026, your IQ might get you a job interview, but your EQ will get you the job. Let's break this down. The first step of EQ is self-awareness. Self-awareness is the conscious knowledge of one's own character, feelings, motives, and desires. It means you can look inside yourself and say, I am feeling angry right now because I am tired. Most people just react. To react means to act in response to something instantly without thinking. A car cuts you off in traffic and you scream. That is a reaction. A person with high EQ does not just react. They pause. They notice the anger. They understand it. And then they choose how to respond. This leads to the second step. Self-regulation. To regulate means to control or maintain the rate or speed of a machine or process. In this case, you're the machine. You are regulating your emotions. When you feel frustrated with your English studies, do you quit? Do you throw the book across the room, or do you take a deep breath and say, I am frustrated and that is okay. I will take a break and come back later. That is self-regulation. Now let us zoom out and look at the bigger picture. We have talked about skills, health, and emotions. But we must answer the most difficult question of all. Why? Why are you doing all of this? Why do you want to change your life? This brings us to Chapter 11. Finding your Ikigai. Ikigai is a beautiful Japanese concept. It does not have a direct translation in English, but it roughly means a reason for being. It is the reason you wake up in the morning. Imagine 4 circles that overlap. The first circle is what you love. The second circle is what you are good at. The third circle is what the world needs. And the fourth circle is what you can be paid for. The center where all 4 circles intersect is your Ikigai. To intersect means to cross or meet at a point. Finding your Ikigai is the secret to a long and happy life. Many people spend their lives in the wrong circle. They have a job that pays well, but they hate it. They feel empty. In 2026, I want you to search for your Ikigai. How does English fit into this? Maybe you love connecting with people. Maybe you are good at teaching. Suddenly, learning English is not just a chore. A chore is a routine task that is often boring. English becomes part of your mission. A mission is an important assignment or goal. When you have a mission, you have limitless motivation. However, finding your purpose can be stressful if you think you must find it immediately. Do not worry. It is a journey. While you are on this journey, there is one tool that will guarantee your happiness every single day, no matter what happens. This brings us to Chapter 12, The Science of Gratitude. You have probably heard that you should be grateful. Grateful means feeling or showing an appreciation of kindness. Thankful. But did you know that gratitude is actually a science? Our brains have a negativity bias. A bias is a prejudice in favor of or against one thing. A negativity bias means our brains are wired to focus on the bad things. Thousands of years ago, this kept us alive. But today, it makes us unhappy. Gratitude is the tool we use to rewire the brain. To rewire means to change the physical structure of the brain by creating new neural pathways. I want you to start a gratitude practice. Every night, write down 3 specific things you are grateful for. When you are specific, you are reliving the moment. This is called savoring. To savor means to taste good food or drink and enjoy it completely. But you can also savor a memory. When you savor a positive moment, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the chemicals of happiness. We have now explored the depths of your emotional world, but we still live in the physical world. We live in houses and apartments. We have messy desks and cluttered closets. This leads us to Chapter 13, Designing Your Environment. Have you ever tried to study English in a messy room? It is very difficult. Your eyes see the mess, and your brain feels tired. This is because your environment competes for your attention. To compete means to strive to gain or win something by defeating others. The mess is fighting against your textbook for your focus. We need to talk about friction. In physics, friction is the resistance that one surface or object encounters when moving over another. In psychology, friction is how hard it is to do a habit. If you want to build a good habit, you must reduce the friction. If you want to practice English in the morning, place your notebook on your pillow before you sleep. When you wake up, it is right there. It is easy. There is no friction. If you want to stop a bad habit like watching too much TV, you must increase the friction. Take the batteries out of the remote control. Put the TV in a closet. Make it hard to do the bad thing. We have designed your inner world and your physical world. Now let's talk about your network. This brings us to Chapter 14, The Clear's Throat, Art of Connection. There's a saying, your net worth is your net worth. Net worth is the total wealth of an individual. This saying means that the people you know are your greatest form of wealth. But many people misunderstand networking. They think it is about using people to get what they want. That is selfish. True networking is about generosity. It is about asking, how can I help you? We need to understand the concept of weak ties. We all have strong ties, our close friends and family. But sociologists have found that most new opportunities, like jobs or scholarships, come from weak ties. These are people you do not know very well. Maybe it is a friend of a friend or someone you met once at a conference. Why? Because you're close. Friends know the same people you know. They have the same information you have. Weak ties bridge you to new worlds. They introduce you to new circles. So, how do you build weak ties in English? You must be brave. You must initiate. To initiate means to cause a process or action to begin. Send a message to someone you admire. Leave a thoughtful comment on a video. Join a conversation. Do not be afraid of making mistakes. Most people are kind. They appreciate the effort. And now we arrive at the final chapter of our journey. We climbed the mountain together. We are standing at the peak looking out at the horizon. This is chapter 15, the legacy. The word legacy refers to what you leave behind after you are gone. It is your footprint on the world. You might think, Elena, I am young. Why should I think about the end of my life? Because thinking about the end helps you live better today. I want you to try the rocking chair test. Close your eyes. Imagine you are 90 years old. You are sitting in a rocking chair on your porch. You are looking back at your life. You are looking back at the year 2026. What will you regret? Regret is a feeling of sadness, repentance, or disappointment over something that has happened or been done. Will you regret that you didn't watch enough TV? No. Will you regret that you didn't worry more? No. You will regret the things you did not do. You will regret the fear that stopped you. You will regret that you didn't learn English when you had the chance. There is a difference between hindsight and foresight. Hindsight is understanding a situation or event only after it has happened. Foresight is the ability to predict what will happen or be needed in the future. By using the rocking chair test, you are using foresight to avoid future regret. You are acting now so that your future self will be proud. Your future self is waiting for you. They are cheering for you. They are begging you to keep going. This script, this video is just a map. I cannot walk the path for you. You must put on your boots. You must take the first step. You will fall. You will get tired. You will have days where you feel like you are not learning anything. But remember chapter 5, resilience. Remember chapter 11, Iki. And remember that I am here with you. We are a community. English is not just a language. It is a key. Snorts, it is a key that unlocks the door to the rest of the world. But more importantly, it unlocks the door to a new version of you. A version that is more confident, more connected, and more alive. Thank you for listening to this entire series. Whether you listened in one day or over 1 month, you have done something amazing. You have invested in yourself. I am Elena, and this has been a special edition of JBC English Learning Academy. I want you to go out there and make 2026 a masterpiece. Do not settle for average. Do not settle for good enough. Aim for the stars. Goodbye for now, my friends. Keep learning. Keep growing. And I will see you in the future.